Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports Talk podcast for the first time in a week. I took a little bit of a break. But anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to my podcast today. My guest, his name is Pete Costanza. He's the receivers coach and pass game coordinator for the 2022 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, and he's also a five-time Grey Cup champion, and he also coached with Calgary for 11 seasons and Winnipeg in 2021. So just bear with me, guys, and I'm going to bring on Pete Costanza, the receiving coach and pass game coordinator for the Argonauts. And again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall. Just bear with me, guys, and I'm going to bring on Pete Costanza. Good afternoon, Pete. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for making a few minutes of time today to come on here.
Oh, no worries. Anytime to get on and talk CFL football with someone, I always look forward to it.
Congratulations on winning another Grey Cup, your fifth in total, and your first with the Argonauts in 2022.
I appreciate it. Winning cups doesn't get old. Everyone's a little bit different, but to play in the last game of the season and have a chance to win it and then come out on top and win, it's a great way to end your year.
What was that Grey Cup rally parade like yesterday?
I think everyone would probably tell you we felt like superheroes. It was amazing, the support that the fans of Toronto, they really showed up, and Maple Leaf Square was amazing. It was packed. It was loud. It felt really special to be able to bring that championship back at Toronto and then get there and see all the people, how much fun they were having, celebrating with us, really made it that much more special.
Growing up as an Argonauts fan in the late 70s in Oakville, I remember the days where the Argos weren't very good, and they didn't win their first Grey Cup in 31 years until 1983. So the last 40 years, the Argonauts have been one of the best franchises in the Canadian Football League. This is their 8th Grey Cup since 1983, and their 18th at all. What is it like being a part of this organization?
I've had the opportunity to be a part of 3 teams now, and the organization, it all starts with the top. Larry and his group, they do a great job giving us what we need to be successful. And, then we have Pinball, who's been around. He's a CFL legend in Toronto especially. But, you got Larry and then Pin, and then with our head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie, they all have the same vision of what Toronto could be and should be. So, to be able to be a part of that and turn it around and then bring the cup back home to Toronto, it's you can't say enough good things about it and the experience and how good it feels right now.
And you worked with Ryan Dinwiddie in Calgary for 4 years, I believe.
I have. That is correct. Yeah.
So there was a familiar. It makes it easier to go to a new team when you know the coach, the head coach, or people in the organization.
Yeah, when you have pro sports in general, it's all about relationships. Ryan and I, we had a chance to work together, for 4 seasons. We went to 3 Grey Cups together and had a chance to celebrate a championship in 18. But when you build relationships with the guys you work with and you build relationships with the players you coach, when you have that authentic relationship, you got a chance for good things to happen. People understand what's expected. You can talk open and honestly, and people don't get their feelings hurt. And so with Ryan, when he left, and we talked back in 18 right after the 19 season, and he's like, yeah, hopefully we get to work again together. And I said, I'm sure we will one day. And so, things come full circle. But when you have a relationship with guys you work with, and even players, you bring players, they end up in free agency, and you reunite with guys. When there's that foundation and that structure behind a connection, then you have a chance to do great things. So it was an opportunity that I couldn't let go by, and was just happy that we were able to reunite and get his name on the Grey Cup as a head coach now.
I was reading up on you too, Pete. How much of an adjustment was it coming from the States, American football, to the Canadian football? And did you know a little bit about the CFL before you came to Calgary in 2008?
Yeah, I actually the first CFL game that I ever went to was in 1991. I came up to Toronto and saw Rocket Ismail return a punt against the Calgary Stampeders. So I sat in the Hard Rock Cafe and watched it there in Sky Dome. And so I always knew about the CFL, didn't know all the ins and outs, but I had great people to learn from. When I got to Calgary with John Hufnagel and George Cortez, they've been in the league for so long. They were excellent teachers and explaining the differences and kind of teaching the new guys that know 11-man football how to flip your thinking a little bit to understand the 12-man game. So, football's football. At the end of the day, you still got to throw the ball. You got to catch it. You got to tackle. You got to block. But, when you have people that can teach you the game and all the nuances, it really makes the adjustment go that much faster.
And I grew up in the 70s, loving the CFL and the NFL. And I don't know why people can't just like both leagues for what it is. Like, they're different countries, different leagues. But I love the differences in both games.
Chris, you couldn't say it any better than that. I mean, are you a football fan? Do you like watching good football? If you like watching, reason why you can't watch a CFL game, embrace the nuances, and there's no reason why you can't watch an NFL game for what it is. They're games at the core. It's still football, and it's both leagues are played at a high level. So, if you're a fan of football, there's no reason why you can't watch both.
Absolutely. I'm just going to get into a couple quick questions for you, Pete. Just quick thoughts overall on your first year in Toronto, and just tell us a little bit about your role as the receivers coach and the pass game coordinator role. Is that like an offensive coordinator job as well?
My job is mainly with the pass game. Obviously, I do have input on the run game and the play action like our other coaches do. Ryan had final of approval on a lot of things, being the head coach and the play caller. It's for me, it was a chance to be more involved, to do offensive coordinator duties without necessarily having the play calling ability, but the relationship that we have and my input with Ryan on game day and how we would devise a game plan with the entire offensive staff was just a step in the right direction for me. So there, you're not the play caller, so to speak, Chris, but doing the offensive coordinator duties and having a chance to continue to grow and get better in this field is really what I look forward to. And like I said, we have a good relationship, so building the game plan was more of a collaboration than anything else.
Thoughts on McLeod Bethel Thompson and Chad Kelly, who came in off the bench in the fourth quarter, and your receiving core as well, and the development of Curly Gittins Jr. this year?
Well, I mean, McLeod, you can't say enough good things about McLeod. Great leader. He's been a journeyman, as he will tell you, but he puts everything he has into learning the game plan, getting better, trying to be a better teammate for his teammates, trying to be a better leader each week. I think the more the year went on, the more comfortable Mac got with just our game plan in general and being able to execute it. Chad, there's a lot of CFL lifetime coaches that have been up here a long time. I'm sure if you ask them, it's a league where you need two quarterbacks. I think we had really that showed this year. We have two great quarterbacks. McLeod might have been our number one and Chad was our number two, but we needed both of them to win the big game at the end of the year. Chad did a phenomenal job just learning the nuances from the 11-man game and coming to Canada. And, I think you can really see how he grew. Even though he didn't play a lot this year, he got plenty of reps in practice. And when he had a chance to play in the Grey Cup, he played well for us and was able to help us seal that win. And Curly, when you talk about Curly Gittens Jr., Curly's a guy that loves football. He practices hard. He's a student of the game. In meetings, he asks a bunch of questions and always wants to learn more. He wants to know the why behind what we're doing. He also just likes to compete. And when you look at him and his growth, it doesn't matter what passport Curly has. Curly Gittens is one of the top flight receivers in the Canadian Football League. And, his needle's pointing up. The sky's the limit. He can continue to grow and get better, and I'm sure he will.
And I was going to say, you've worked with a lot of great receivers in your CFL career so far since 2008.
Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to have a lot of good receivers to work with from 2008 till now. And they're all different. They all have their own unique skill set. Nick Lewis is a guy that he's a one-of-a-kind guy. You won't see too many like him. But when you look at all the ones that became 1,000-yard guys or they were a league all-star, the common thread that bonds them all together is their work ethic. They want to work hard. They want to get better. And then they compete. They compete every day, but they not only compete every day, they compete with themselves to raise the bar and get better. And, that's something that Curly has that's similar to the rest of the guys that I've coached over the past couple years.
How much of an impact was Andrew Harris to this Argonaut team? Because as a fan in August, I'm like, okay, he's done for the year. What was it like when it was announced that he was clear to come back, and how much of an impact did he make with that offense?
Coaching Andrew last year in Winnipeg and then having him come over here to Toronto, what you see on game day, the guy that's on the football field and the way Andrew plays the game is one thing. But Andrew, his leadership in the locker room, the experience that he has, the ability to convey to his teammates what it takes to play winning football at a high level, that's the stuff that kind of goes behind closed doors. You don't get to see it. And it's invaluable, that experience and that leadership that he brings. When he got cleared to come back, there was definitely a shot of energy that went through the locker room. Everyone was excited for it, from the coaches to the offensive players to the defensive players. And like I said, his leadership and his approach to getting better, him working out on the sideline on his own and rehabbing and going to the gym, and just guys watching him work and watching him get better. There's a reason why he's a guy that rushed for 10,000 yards and will be, a first ballot Hall of Famer someday.
Okay. Do you have time for two more quick questions?
Yeah, I got time for two more for sure.
Okay, for sure. OJ Ouellette, what's your thoughts on him and his story? I think he was cut by the team in July. And what was a daily week like preparing for in a playoff games against Montreal and Winnipeg, just briefly?
Sure. So to answer your question about AJ, you always hear stories about blue collar, lunch pail type football players, and that's AJ. AJ, I nicknamed him Cowboy. He's kind of got that cowboy mentality. He's going to saddle up and he's going to show up in practice and show up in a game day, and he's going to play his tail off for the team and for his teammates. There was never, a doubt that AJ could be a good football player in this league. And I think when you look at the year that he had filling in for Andrew, and you look at the game that he had in the Grey Cup and scoring 2 touchdowns, his play speaks for itself. Preparing for the 2 playoff games, Chris, Montreal and then Winnipeg. I think, you look at Montreal, we played them, 3 times this year, played them twice at the end of the season. We had a pretty good idea of what they were about, and I'm sure they had a good idea of what the Toronto Argonauts were about. But when you go into that game, it's really about trying to get your team to execute your plan. I think that was a big game for us. We went out there, we played a really good football game as a team. I thought we executed our plan really well. The guys understood what was going to kind of transpire that day on the field versus Montreal. And the way we played kind of was a step in the right direction going into that final Grey Cup game, because you want to play your best football at the end of the year. And that was our best football game of the year going into the Grey Cup. The Winnipeg game and the Winnipeg game plan, we only had them once. We had them early in the season, so we had to watch a bunch of film of them down the stretch and try to see what they were doing that might have been different and what they were doing that was the same. But I think, there were a bunch of storylines floating around out there, and it was a David and Goliath, and a lot of people didn't give us a chance. Everybody kept talking about a dynasty of a team winning 3 in a row. And, we just tried to keep our guys focused on do your job. What's our job? What's our responsibility this week? How are we going to win the football game? And our players, they put their blinders on. They tuned out all the noise, and they went after the game plan. We told them it wasn't going to be easy. We let them know that it was going to be a game where we were going to have to ride the highs and pull ourselves out of the lows if we had any. And that's how the game went. We had some highs and we had some lows, and the team rallied around each other and did that. But the game plan wasn't anything crazy for us, to be honest. It was what we've done throughout the course of the year. It was, how we attacked teams that did similar things. But our players went out there and they understood it and they executed. And, we didn't make a bunch of mistakes. We were able to play solid football, and I think that gave us a chance to win a close football game versus Winnipeg.
You guys had the next man up mentality, because you guys did deal with a lot of adversity and injuries this year. And when did you and the team knew there was something special about this team?
For me, it was right after Labor Day. When we had Hamilton 4 times over 5 or 6 weeks, and we had a bunch of injuries. We had a bunch of man hours down, and we had people keep stepping up and playing and plugging in there for us. But when right around Labor Day, you could see the boys really starting to rally around each other. And, we had our growing pains early in the season, and just like, any team or any family, sometimes you argue with each other and then you kiss and make up. But as the team started to grow and mature, and guys started to figure out what their roles were, and people started understanding, it's not about me, it's about we, it's about the bigger cause, it's about winning a football game. And they really started becoming a band of brothers right around that Labor Day mark. When I saw that happen, it reminded me a lot of 2008 in Calgary. Our football team after Labor Day, they looked at each other and they said, hey, we're going to play for each other. And then we were playing really good football down the stretch. And when our team did that, it kind of gave me a little bit of a reflection back to 08. And I thought to myself, well, hey, we keep going in this direction, we got a chance to be great.
I was going to say, you've been with 3 tremendous organizations, the Stampeders, the Blue Bombers, and the Argonauts. And this 5th Grey Cup, what's that rank in terms of being special? I guess they're all special, but how do you rank this one?
Yeah, I mean, they're all special, Chris. I love every one of those Grey Cups as much as the other. They all have different memories for me. And my first one in 08 obviously was my first one in the CFL. So that one has special memories, and there's different things. This Grey Cup right now is real special because of how we grew as a team, how the team came together. And my one lasting memory, which I think may stay with me forever, is watching Enoch on the stage after the game and getting both the MOP and the MOC, his daughter coming up there, and just the authentic emotions that he showed. Like I said earlier, it's about relationships. It's about trust and integrity, and doing things together the right way. But to see a guy like that and get to know him this year and what his story is, his journey, and to watch him on stage, that was a special moment for me. And that's kind of going to stay with me a long time with this 2022 Grey Cup.
And I'm going to wrap this up. But the Argonauts have been great with me. I'm switching careers in the radio at 50, and Mike Hogan and Chris Belnovich have been great. And I've been able to cover and follow my childhood team. And I want to say thank you, Pete, so much for coming on. Where can my audience find you on social media? And just quick thoughts on the Argo fans.
The Argo fans are great. Like I said, you go to Maple Leaf Square the other day, and I'm sure a lot of people couldn't make it because they were working, but it was loud. And that Eastern Final, BMO's a pretty sweet venue. And when our Argo fans start banging on those bleachers and they get that BMO field rocking, it's a hard place for a visiting team to play. And home field advantage is one thing that, the fans really control. So to see that at the end of the year and to know that we have that ability to create that type of atmosphere and buzz in a stadium really kind of made me smile, and looking forward to more days like that, because when our fans are like that, BMO's is as tough a place to play as any.
Yes.
Find me on social media. I'm only on Twitter, so you can always interact with me on Twitter and check me out there.
Okay, and I took my nephew to his first CFL and Argo game, and he loved it there, and I'm looking at getting a season ticket for next year. But, Pete, I'm sorry I kept you over 15 minutes, but I want to say...
That's okay.
Like I said, thank you so much for coming on, and the CFL really is truly a fans' league.
Absolutely. It's a fans' league, and the Grey Cup is the fans' cup, and to watch people, take pictures with it this week in Toronto, that's what's special about it. Oldest trophy in professional sports, and you got to have a great time bringing it back to your home city and sharing it with everyone.
Crossing my fingers, they can bring back the entire coaching staff and try to keep this core in place and try to have a run at another Grey Cup next year, hopefully in 2023, Pete.
Absolutely, Chris. That's the plan.
Definitely, Pete. Safe travels, and I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hope to see you down at the University of Guelph.
Sounds good. Same to you. Have a great holiday, Chris, and
training
I'll talk
camp
to you soon, buddy.
At Alumni Stadium. You too. Thanks so much, Pete. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. That was my guest today, Pete Costanza. He's the receivers coach and pass game coordinator for the 2022 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. He's also won 4 other Grey Cups, 2008, 2014, 2018 with the Calgary Stampeders. He was with Ryan Dinwiddie as a coach there as well for 4 years. And he also won a Grey Cup in 2021 with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers under Mike O'Shea, and now 2022 with the Argonauts as well. You guys can check out Pete Costanza on Twitter at Costanza Coach if you want to follow him on Twitter or send him a tweet or a message as well. I really appreciate Pete giving us some time today to come on and talk about the 2022 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts and a little bit about his coaching career as well. Guys, just bear with me. I'm going to show you some highlights from the Grey Cup between Toronto and Winnipeg. Argos win 24-23. These clips are courtesy of TSN and the CFL. So just bear with me, guys, and I'm just going to show a little bit of clips.
Canada's biggest game is back in Saskatchewan for the 4th time and hosting the first Grey Cup between 2 storied franchises in over 70 years. Winnipeg and Toronto haven't met on this stage since the Mud Bowl of 1950. And while the Argonauts have won the Cup more than any other team, the Blue Bombers are on the verge of history, looking to become just the second franchise to win 3 in a row since the CFL officially formed in 1958. Welcome to the 109th Grey Cup. Championship Sunday. Where else would you rather be? On the prairie for the Grey Cup. And it is underway off the foot of Mark Lagio, and he's coming down the lead at the 30-35, and he gets up across the 40 before he is taken down. Andrew Harris in the ball game, standing to protect. Throwing on second down complete. And the first down of this game goes to Markeith Ambles. John Haggerty to put it down right in the middle from about 47 yards away for Pete. It's up. And it's good. And the Argos on their second possession get close enough to get on the board. 36 yards away. to go 2 for 2 to make it a 6-0 ball game. This time breaking right, and he missed it. The last one tailed off to the left, and he barely made it, and that one is a miss. And a chance from the one for the Bombers to take the lead. Pruka, touchdown! Dakota Pruka. As Mark Leggio looks to make it a 3-point lead. He does. The same spot here, 36 yards away last time, pushed it to the right. This is to tie the game. Beatty. And it's breaking right again, but it started left. It's perfect. It's down the middle. And more importantly for the Argos, we've got a tie game, 7-7 late in the second. We'll put it down just beyond the 45. He was 32 of 39 in the regular season, longest of 55. Against a bit of a breeze, accurate enough and long enough to give the Bombers the lead again, settling at this point just for field goal tries. This is a different field for the double blue. A.J. Olette, 3-2-1, touchdown, Argos.
They saw what we saw.
Boris Beatty will try the point after 32 yards out to make it a 4-point Argo lead. They're back in front. They're back in front by 4. Dakota Prukop again. Looking for 2. And he's got it. Prukop and the Bombers find the end zone a second time and retake the lead. Winnipeg leading this Grey Cup again. Leading it again by a field goal.
The Argos are going to need to create one of those turnovers. They created more than any team in the league in the regular season. They may need to create another one. But we got a football game going into the fourth.
We do, and it's in the hands after the Argos.
Look out.
There he grabbed. Here we go again. Can he do it again? Final, the CFL's top returner has won in the Grey Cup. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Wow. And what a way for Winnipeg to start the final 15 minutes of this Grey Cup. The point after from Leggio, and no, he misses it left. Boris Beatty from 36 yards. He made one, he missed one. He's 2 for 4 overall in field goal tries in this Grey Cup game. Put down by Haggerty, and it breaks left again, but easily good. The Argos in Bomber territory down to the 36 and a second and 15. Chad Kelly. Ricky Walker chasing him down. Kelly gets away. Tries to take off and does. Kelly still going. Oh, he takes a hit from Des Lawrence. But he gets right back up again. And a big first down.
There was the adjustment.
A.J. Olette breaks free. Has another touchdown. Argos are loving that. From no name to big name, A.J. Olette has 2 Grey Cup touchdowns, and Toronto's a point after away from taking the lead. Boris Beatty mixed an extra point that would have forced overtime against Winnipeg back in July. He nails that one. And that one has put the Argos in front. 24-23, 3 minutes, 24 seconds left in Tip-Tac Polaris. Bombers trailing now. Over the middle, intercepted Argos. Mwamba has it. Mwamba with the pick. Argos with the lead and the ball inside the Winnipeg 45. That's blocked. Blocked. The Bombers on the chase. Brandon Alexander has it. And it remains a 1-point lead, Argo. Academic, if he makes it, Winnipeg will take the lead. No! Partially blocked as well. It rolls down. A block, and then a block. And a no-yards flag coming out as well. And Chad Kelly, who came on and led them back, can take a knee as the Argos can sense their 18th Grey Cup title. Winnipeg can only watch as the hopes of a three-peat fade away. What an extraordinary finish here at Mosaic Stadium. The dynasty is denied, and one of the oldest trophies in Canada's history will go to one of its oldest franchises. The Toronto Argonauts have won the 2022 Grey Cup.
Anyways, guys, that clip was courtesy of TSN and the Canadian Football League, and one of the craziest, insane endings to a championship game was having not one but two blocked field goals at the end of the game with less than 2 minutes left, and the last one sealed the deal for the Toronto Argonauts. And Enoch Mamamba is the MVP and most outstanding Canadian player, and it was great to see him win his first Grey Cup championship in 11 years in the CFL as well. And Chad Kelly, whether you like him or not, he came off the bench in the fourth quarter and he played like a professional, did his job, and helped lead this team to the game-winning touchdown by A.J. Ouellette. And Kelly had a nice 20-yard scramble as well. And congratulations to the entire Argonauts franchise, the team, the players, the fans, and they've been great with me this year. As you guys know, I'm working on a career in radio and media, and they've been very supportive of my career change. Mike Hogan, Chris Bilinovich, Sean Bowen, tremendous organization, and I'm hoping to go to more games next year at BMO Field as well. Before we wrap up season 4, episode 53, 218th episode today as well, I just want to say I wish all my American friends, it's a little belated, but a happy U.S. Thanksgiving Day belated yesterday, and I hope you guys enjoyed the football games and stuff as well. But as I do all my podcast shows, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for their newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210 and tell them that Chris Palme, aka CDP, sent you there as well. And also, guys, you can do pre-orders now for the all-electric Silverado or the all-electric Cadillac Lyric as well. And again, pop by the dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall, or check out barrycullen.com, or give them a call again at 519-824-0210 as well. And just to let you guys know, also, the Barry Cullen dealership service and parts department is now opened on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you need to bring your car in for service or some parts for your car, they're now open Saturdays from 8 to 4 p.m. on Saturdays as well. And yeah, like I said, I really appreciate the dealership sponsoring my podcast show as well. Thank you to Mark Helen as well. Again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet as well. And before we wrap this up, guys, just give me a second. I'm just going to do this like I do with all my other shows. Live with CDP podcast. The audio version is downloaded to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In. Give me about 10-15 minutes. I'll have this downloaded onto those audio platforms. Live with CDP Sports Talk is now on 17 platforms. I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live on my YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe notification and like notification if you already haven't. And thank you to those watching on Facebook Live and on Twitter as well. And just to let you guys know, I do have another podcast show coming up. My next podcast show is going to be, I'm just having trouble with my graphics today, guys. Just bear with me. And we'll have it on here. I believe, let's see. I just got so much stuff on here. Okay. My next Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, will be Monday, November 28th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. My guest is going to be Morgan Parrish. She's an anchor reporter with Fox 19 News in Cincinnati, Ohio. She's going to talk about her role with Fox 19 and Cincinnati reporter. And she's also a huge Eagles, Phillies, and 76ers fan as well. So she's going to talk about the Phillies World Series run and the Eagles obviously off to a 9-1 start, and also the Philadelphia Sixers as well. So that'll be season 4, episode 54 this Monday night at 6:30 p.m. here live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and my audio platforms as well. And also, guys, the Argo Bounce live audio show, I believe we're going to try to do another one next week on Twitter Spaces with my co-host Nick Small as we break down the Toronto Argonauts Grey Cup Championship in their 2022 season. I think we're going to do one more, and then we'll probably take a little bit of a break until training camp starts up in May, hopefully at the University of Guelph again. So when me and Nick can figure out a day and a time next week, we're going to try to do one more Argo Bounce live show for the season, and hopefully get some guests on from around the CFL as well, if you guys can bear with me there. And that's about it, guys. I want to say again thanks to Pete Costanza, the receivers coach and pass game coordinator for the 2022 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, for coming on today as well. Also, guys, there's some big football games on this weekend. We have Michigan and Ohio State at 12 o'clock. Can Michigan finally beat Ohio State in Columbus, which they haven't done since 2000. That game's a 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. And then at 1 o'clock, we have the Vanier Cup Championship, which is the Canadian University Championship here in Canada. It's going to be taking place from TD Waterfront or Waterhouse Stadium in London, Ontario at the University of Western. It's going to be the Saskatchewan Huskies against the Laval Rouge to see who's going to be the top team in Canada as well. And that's about it, guys. Again, I want to say thank you to Pete Costanza, the receivers coach and pass game coordinator for the Argonauts, for coming on today. And I want to say thank you to everybody for watching this live and listening to it on audio as well. And I'm looking forward to my next show on Monday, November 28th at 6:30 with Morgan Parrish from Fox 19 News in Cincinnati. I hope everybody in the States again had a great Thanksgiving Day, and I hope you guys all have a great weekend and enjoy the college football games, the NFL games, and even the National Hockey League and the NBA. And also, 1 week from today, I will be at the Buffalo Bandits home opener against the Albany Firewolves, Saturday, December 3rd at 7:30 at the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. If you're interested in going, check out bandits.com for tickets and information. Bandits.com for tickets and information and stuff like that. Again, that's it. Again, thank you everybody for coming on for Live with CDP Sports Talk today. And we'll see you guys Monday night at 6:30 with Morgan Parrish. And hopefully I'll be able to do one more Argo Bounce live audio show on Twitter Spaces with my co-host Nick Small at some point next week as well. So again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph at 95 Woodlawn Road in Guelph. Have a great afternoon, great weekend, everybody. And again, congratulations to the 2022 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, and looking forward to the CFL coming back in May for training camp as well. All right, guys, talk to you later.